Hello friends, it's time for another Q&A video. These questions were asked by my lovely, beautiful, generous patrons over on Patreon. The way this works, they submit questions and I answer them, and I do it off the cuff. I don't really take a look at these in advance because I think it's a lot more interesting that way. So let's get started. The first question, what's your favorite time period for guns? Oh, I don't know if I can pick a favorite, but there are two that I have to mention. So the first is the beginning of the 20th century, specifically in American firearms making. Although Europe too, if you look at the stuff FN was releasing over there. I just love how fast things were developing. I can't think of another time in firearms development where things were moving so quickly and so dramatically, changing the way war was fought and the way people used their guns and the way people thought of what a gun could do. It was really amazing. So I definitely have to go with that time. And then the Cold War. The Cold War, in much the same way, produced a lot of really interesting stuff that was evolving at a really fast rate. It's a super cool time, and I'd really like to collect some more firearms from both periods. What's your favorite gun accessory? The bayonet that fits on pistols. No, I don't know. Probably just, this is really boring, but a really fucking good light. When you get a really, really good light, that's such an awesome feeling when you have like a Surefire X300 or whatever that you really, really trust. So I don't want to go, with some sort of optic because, these days we sort of feel like we have to have optics on our guns, and we do. They make shooting much more interesting and easy, especially on a rifle. But I think the accessory that has stuck out the most to me in recent years is on my rifle. Well, it's not on a rifle anymore. Now it's on an AR-15 pistol, on my 11.5-inch AR-15 pistol. But the Surefire M600 DF, that is a brilliant light with a rechargeable battery, which saves you money. It saves the environment. The light is reasonably priced. It is absolutely fantastic. That is an awesome, awesome light. If you could go on a gun-related vacation, where would you go? I would go just about anywhere to shoot guns. Absolutely anywhere. But if I could choose a place to shoot guns, I don't think this is actually really possible for a variety of reasons, but I would love to shoot guns in Australia because Australia is so beautiful. I would love to shoot guns there, but I think for a variety of reasons that is probably out of the question. But yeah, I'd go with Australia. Which science fiction gun would you most like to own and why? I think the phaser from Star Trek The Next Generation, because it's more than just a weapon. Like, yeah, it's a badass gun, but more than that, you can use it to generate heat, to melt obstacles. They do all kinds of shit with the phaser in Star Trek The Next Generation, and then Deep Space Nine and Voyager, which I love Deep Space Nine. I don't like Voyager so much. I just never really got into it. But yeah, definitely the phaser. What do you like most and least about the YouTube gun community? Well, there's a lot to love. I love how generous everyone is, how willing to share information folks are. We have an absolutely amazing community. I look at, all of you guys. I mean, you're sitting here watching a video where I'm just talking about horse shit, rambling on. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And frankly, I don't deserve it. And then we have all of these cool folks that are fighting for our rights. I think of Tim at the Military Arms channel. I also love Paul Harrell. You guys are awesome. You're absolutely amazing. Sorry about that. I had a massive coughing fit. My voice. You may know I've had a couple of throat and stomach surgeries, so my voice kind of acts up sometimes, and I can hear right now that it's about to fucking turn off in the middle of this. So if that happens, I apologize, but you'll probably hear me cough and drink water a lot. Anyway, what do I like the least about the YouTube gun community? Well, our community, more than others, seems to attract folks who are talkers, as the Hound on Game of Thrones would say. Folks who are talkers and not doers. And it's a lot easier to get on the internet and argue with motherfuckers or just sort of be a constant stream of bad information, vitriol, when folks point out that it's bad information, whatever it is, it's much easier to do that than it is to actually go out and shoot your motherfucking guns. It's so easy to talk. And I think that's the biggest problem that we have right now. That's a serious problem. And hopefully we'll all shoot more. It'd be awesome if we could all shoot every day, right? I wish I could do that. I'd love to just shoot every day of my life. That would be brilliant. And I'm actually kind of working towards that. Maybe having hopefully one day a place for myself where I can just walk out back and shoot some targets. Besides guns, what are you most obsessed with right now? And microtechs don't count. Oh, well, the answer was definitely going to be microtechs. Otherwise, I think right now I have been most obsessed with doing some music stuff. I'm trying to finish an album. Normally I'm making albums for other people. Right now I'm trying to finish an album of my own. So I've been kind of obsessed with that, and that leads to me having to jump back into guitar head first and try to play a little more so that I don't absolutely suck the bag when I pick up a guitar, which is where I find myself right now. So definitely that. Did you like the end of Game of Thrones? Yes, I did. I fucking loved it. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I didn't just love it. I thought it was perfect, flawless in every way. I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. The final 2 seasons, although I guess they were really one season kind of split up, I thought they really just nailed it. I won't give away spoilers here unless you want me to, but there's a change in a character that happens that I've heard a lot of people say seemingly comes out of nowhere, and I could not disagree more. I think it's heavily foreshadowed, and we can see it coming from a mile away if we look carefully and we're paying attention. How long do you spend on your hair every day? Not very long. Seriously, I know you're not gonna believe me. I know you're not gonna believe me at all, but it's about a minute. I just put the fucking shit in it, and then I comb it, and then I leave. It's really, I swear. Do you hunt? I don't, but it's not because I have any sort of moral issue with it. I actually think that hunting is the absolute most humane way to acquire meat. Factory farming is utterly disgusting. It's nauseating, and I absolutely fucking hate going to the grocery store to buy meat that came from a factory farm. So I try not to. I try to get my meat from other places where the animals have lived better lives. But hunting is an awesome way to look out for the animals and to feed yourself. And hopefully this will be the last year that I don't hunt. I hope in a year I'm telling you, yeah, I took my first deer and it was delicious. And anyway, yeah, so you guys stay on me about that. Keep on me to make sure that I'm actually following up on that. Oh, and I've got a different array of guns here than usual for the Q&As because I wanted to show you guys what I've been shooting a lot of lately. The Ruger GP100, I've been shooting a lot of 357. I've been shooting a lot of my Glock 43X because it's one of my favorite guns that I've ever owned. And then I pulled out the old PPQ. Really great. I love all of these guns. What are some tips to not be an asshole at the gun range? That's a great question. I think just, basic human courtesy, always checking to make sure that you're doing what's safe for you and safe for everybody else. Although I'm no expert on anything really gun related. There are a lot of folks who are range officers who can give you a much better perspective on that. I don't know, picking up your brass. There are a few things that I do see people consistently doing at the range, though, that irk me. There was a guy who he was letting his kid throw rocks at me and the lady I was with at the range. I mean, that would have been really fucking dangerous if we were actually in the middle of firing and, we talked to the guy and he took care of it, but he was just kind of letting this happen, or was at least oblivious to it. It was really bizarre. And, people not taking their targets down, not picking up their brass, just do the clean up after yourself. Do the basic shit. Don't treat the range like it's your living room. It's a shared space. Be kind and courteous to other people. Anyway, what was your first job? Oh, I was an autism therapist. Actually, I was an ABA therapist. I got that job really young, shockingly. I don't know if I was mature enough to sort of do that job well, but I had to kind of grow into it. I don't know if I'm mature enough to do that job now, but that was a long time ago. And yeah, I kind of grew into it, and I kept doing it for years after that. It's an incredibly difficult but rewarding job, and really, really enjoyed it. And then my second job, I don't remember. I think I worked at a newspaper or something. Do you have a favorite caliber? Yes. I'm going to have to sort of break this up because I can't just pick one favorite caliber, but my overall favorite caliber to shoot is a toss-up between 22 long rifle and 44 Magnum for completely different reasons. 22, I like that you can sit there and drill a technique over and over again cheaply until you've sorted out the problem. With 44 Magnum, it's just fun to shoot giant fucking guns. I mean, who doesn't enjoy that? So 44 Magnum is more rewarding probably to fire on a shot by shot basis, but think about how expensive that round is. It's just not practical to shoot it all day. So, and then two other rounds that I shoot a lot of because I absolutely adore them. 5.56. I shoot a lot of 5.56. A ton of it, and I shoot a ton of 9mm. Both of those I shoot twice a week, several hundred rounds each sitting, just to stay sharp. I view both of those rounds I kind of view as sort of necessary defensive rounds if you're an American. So I think that we should be practicing with our 9mm pistols and with our 5.56 rifles as often as is humanly possible. And there are, of course, times when I'm just too broke to do it, and it's just not happening. That happens to us all. I'm not a well-off guy, and sometimes it's just feels, it feels like a lot to plop down the money for a case of 5.56 or 9mm. Which guns are you most covetous of right now? Oh, man. There are two that I just cannot stop thinking about, and you will hopefully see them soon. The Beretta ARX. I forget which one is the 5.56 and which one is the 22 long rifle, but whichever one is the 5.56, the ARX 160, I think it is. The Beretta ARX 160. I just love that thing. I really want one. I've been trying to track one down at a good price for a while. And the other one that you will hopefully see in the coming months is the IWI Tavor X95, a green one. I love that gun. I love it every time I pick one up in a shop, and I'm definitely going to buy one. If you could move out of the country, expenses paid for life, would you do it? Right now, no, I would not. So first of all, I love America so fucking much, and I love the state of South Carolina so much. I love my country. I love my state. But I really like to travel. I'm a musician. I've traveled all over the place, and I love doing it. It's really awesome. But right now, I would not leave the country because guns are such a huge part of my life. They're probably the biggest part of my life besides my career. So no, I mean, there's nowhere I could move where I could shoot the way that I want to as often as I want to with few restrictions. It's just not possible. So no, I wouldn't be able to. But if I could transfer all of my rights to another land, if that makes any sense, I'd love to at least spend an extended period of time in Australia or New Zealand. I mean, who wouldn't? But I don't know. I would miss here. I don't think I could stay there permanently. I would always be thinking about South Carolina. I would always want to come back. What are your thoughts on garden gnomes? I think that they are extremely kickable. I think that they steal things in the night and are working towards profit. And a lot of you will probably get that joke or not. I don't fucking know what people are into these days. But anyway, any bad date stories? No, I've never been on a date. What's the best joke you've ever heard? I don't know. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you who my favorite comedian is. My favorite comedian is Dave Chappelle. I idolize Dave Chappelle. I love him. I love everything he's ever done. He's a fucking genius. He's also a brilliant philosopher. His two most recent stand-up specials, he's not so much a comedian anymore as he is a commentator on modern life and what it means to live in America now. And it's amazing to listen to him. I can't get enough of how he thinks. So I'll say that Dave Chappelle's humor is very much something that I don't know. God, I admire it is probably the best way to put it. The other person that I admire is the comedian Ron White, because he is a great Southern storyteller, and there's a lot to be said for that. I remember when he was on tour as part of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour back in the day. I did not like that so much. I did not understand those other guys that he was on tour with. It's just not my humor. I didn't get it. It's not funny to me. But the manner in which he tells stories and the way that he views the world is something that's sort of unique to our region, and I really appreciate it. What's your favorite smell in the world? Well, okay. Speaking of the South, that seems like that's the primary thing I've talked about today. So let's keep that shit rolling. It's one of my favorite topics. I love this part of the world. My favorite smell is definitely any of the fresh fruits that we grow here. There's nothing like a watermelon grown here, or a strawberry grown here, or a peach grown here. And peaches are getting harder to find in the South because so many of them are exported to other places. You fucking Californians eat a lot of our peaches, but there's nothing like that smell. It's unique to here. And fruit grown in other places doesn't taste or smell the same. Do you believe in aliens? Yes, of course I do. Somewhere in the galaxy, certainly in the universe, but much more likely the galaxy, there are other races. It's just a mathematical probability. It would be very, very strange if there weren't aliens. There is certainly life on other worlds somewhere around here. Now, have they visited Earth? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. Everybody's talking about Bob Lazar's recent appearance on the Joe Rogan show, and then the documentary that was done about Bob Lazar and his story, and maybe what he did or didn't do. I don't know shit about that. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that absolutely elsewhere in the galaxy there is other life, intelligent or not. Some could argue that there's not intelligent life here. Except for the whales. If Star Trek 4 taught us anything, it's that the whales are really what the aliens are going to come here looking for, or whatever that fucking space Twinkie was. I don't know if that was an alien or if it was just some sort of sentient robotic space Twinkie, but either way, they were here for the whales. Polymer or metal? Oh, it depends on the gun. I can't choose that way. It just doesn't work like that for me. I'm not one of those guys who's like, the Glock's the best gun ever, or the 1911's the best gun, or even, the Beretta's the best gun, even though that's my favorite gun. I don't think that way. The answer is all. I love them all. I love most guns that I've handled for one reason or another, with the exception of the Springfield XD and the Smith & Wesson M&P. I hate both of those guns. It's a long story, but I fucking hate them. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me talk for 1,000,000 hours. You are unbelievably generous, delightful, awesome humans that subscribe to my channel and comment and watch my awful videos. And then, good Lord, you guys who donate on Patreon, I love you so much. You lovely, lovely, awesome, beautiful people. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night.